What's up? What's going on? Hide and read. Got a book haul here for you. You love book hauls. Booktube loves book hauls, even though they love complaining about them. They also love to watch them and more to haul their own books. But today you can just vicariously live through me. I got a stack of new books, used books. Some are from a library book sale, and others are from the local used bookstore. So I guess we'll just jump right in. Let's do new books first. A little bit of history here. C.V. Wedgwood, 30 Years' War. It's a history book all about, you guessed it, the 30 Years' War. C.V. Wedgwood, she's a woman, and she wrote this book. I think when she was like 30 years old, the book was published. Maybe she was 31 by the time it was published. It's a bit older. It's from 1938. And to be quite honest, the older history is better. Moving right along. More of the new books. Mikhail Bulgakov, Heart of a Dog. This book was unpublished during his life. It would have never made it past the Soviet censors. And I think just recently it's been translated into English. So here it is. Heart of the Dog. Mikhail Bulgakov. His more popular work, Master and Margarita. You've heard of it. Two more newbies. One Foot in Eden by Ron Rash. Ron Rash writes these, I don't know, they're very just like down to earth, East Coast historical kind of dramas. I read, the only other book of his I read was Serena, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a retelling of Macbeth, but in the setting of a North Carolina logging camp. I really liked it so much, so I'm happy to read a second Ron Rash. I'll probably review it. I need to do more reviews on this channel. The last new book, a history, Destiny Disrupted. It's world history through the eyes of the Islamic Empire. Unfamiliar with this author, Tamim Ansari, but we'll see. The book is supposed to kind of explain why the West and East, and I think they're specifically talking about like Roman Empire and, Holy Roman Empire and the Muslim Empire, and why the two were seemingly, running around parallel tracks, but not really integrated with each other in any sort of meaningful way. So that should be interesting. Let's go on to the used. So these are from the local used bookstore, and I was really surprised to find this. Bride Wore Black, Cornell Woolrich. Cornell Woolrich is like one of the crime noir authors, like his peers, like Dashiell Hammett, and he also wrote underneath the name William Irish. So if you see anything William Irish or Cornell Woolrich, highly suggest you pick it up. Even if the story isn't great, you're going to love the writing. I can almost guarantee. So I've only read one Cornell, just like Ron Rash, one Cornell Woolrich story. This will be my second. Yes, I praise authors off of one book. That's all it takes to impress me, really. All right. Fantasies, George MacDonald. This is like one of the first fantasy books, and it's about like elves, fairies, more of like a mythological overlay onto the real world kind of fantasy. George MacDonald was a Catholic priest, I believe. Pretty sure he's Catholic, but he wrote a bunch of sermons. For any of you Jesus freaks out there, George MacDonald. It's a cool guy. Cool guy. This is completely unrelated, but I haven't drank coffee in 3 days because I found out that if you're allergic to cockroaches, you can have an allergic reaction to ground, like coffee grounds, because ground coffee has a bunch of cockroaches in it, and I don't have a coffee grinder, and yeah. So instead of cockroach tea, I've been drinking Earl Grey. Fun. All right, next book. Time for Trolls. I thought this was pretty cool. There's like all about the Norwegian fairy tales, but these books, it's like a series of books that was made for tourists. And some of them are like more kind of just like mundane societal kind of guides, like economics, education in Norway, stuff like that, Norwegian music. This one's fairy tales, so I like my fairy tales. So this is the last one from the local store. Daphne du Maurier, Rule Britannia. It's like an alternate history fiction novel where I believe the United States is like taking over England, the United Kingdom. So I recently just started reading this author through her short stories, and one of her short stories, Alfred Hitchcock, turned into a movie, The Birds. You may have heard of The Birds. The bird is the word. Okay, let's go into our next set of books, which is from a library book sale. Library book sales. Have you never been to one? That's where you get the cheapest books imaginable. The price has doubled recently. Oh my goodness. So now hardcover books are $2 and paperbacks are $1. That's okay. I got out all the books I need, to be honest, but I found some cool stuff. So I just showed you this Daphne du Maurier. And this author, I didn't even know about her until I picked up those short stories. And now she's everywhere because now I got The Parasites. Don't know what the book is about. I picked it up in this older edition. And we'll see. Let's see, another fiction I picked up. I never heard of this author, William Kennedy, Ironweed. And the synopsis just sounded so tragic. I was like, I gotta read it. It's like an alcoholic gravedigger. He like accidentally kills some guy, so he's on the run. Then he accidentally drops his baby, and the baby dies. And he has to like kind of redeem himself from his like tragic past. And he's a hobo and a gravedigger, an alcoholic. Ironweed. It just sounded fun. There's a couple, I think 2 other books. Not that they're in like a real series, but set in this Albany, New York kind of setting from this author. So educate myself. Okay. Song of the Lark. Cather, which I just assumed was Willa Cather. It's got to be Willa Cather. Have I read anything by Willa Cather? No, but I'm collecting all of her books. I don't know why. Yeah, it is Willa Cather. And, yeah, we'll see. She wrote a lot about the American Southwest. So, I got a bunch of her books now. Can get to reading them. That'd be great. Let's see. Okay. Previous videos you've seen, I have this big Alfred Hitchcock collected stories with like 62 shorts in it. It's awesome. Now I have Isaac Asimov science fiction masterpieces. 59 short stories. A lot of authors I have not read or even read their names. So it might be a big clunker. I don't know, but we'll see. Pretty excited for that. I'm trying to reduce my library, believe it or not, despite all these book haul videos. And I just have like this theory that these short story anthologies are going to be helpful in like reducing my space on the shelves, because a lot of these, especially with the fiction, a lot of the well-known authors, if I want to read the story, I can find the books. It's not that big of a deal to hunt them down. But it would be nice to have something, you know? So, you get it. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, maybe you'll appreciate this. The Dracula Book of Great Vampire Stories. Boom, boom, boom. You can check out what's in there. All the classic ones, right? And how many of these have I read? Like none of them. So, gonna learn me some vampire stories. So good to have 2 more short story anthologies there. Now we'll get into the nonfiction. First, I'll show you. I mean, there is a book in here, but it's a lyric sheet for the opera Faust. Show it to you backwards. This is not the year that I read Faust. Not the play or otherwise. It's not happening. But maybe next year. And this year I could just listen to it. Not very knowledgeable about opera. When I was younger, I listened to a lot of classical music. So trying to maybe get back into that. See if I have the mind for it. I used to own this book. I gave a copy away. And like just last week, I was like really regretting it because I was like, I don't think I'm going to find this again. And here it is. Coronado's Children. This is all about different treasures all throughout the American Southwest. Check out the map. Boom. And yeah, buried missing treasure tales, lore, myth, a lot of like Spanish mines. Yeah. We'll see. I read the first half of this before I gifted it to somebody. And let me read the other half. Maybe I'll find the treasure. Nothing like a good treasure story. That used to be really popular in America. I think people kind of forgotten about this, but if you kind of read leisurely kind of stuff, you'll notice there's lots of treasure hunts and lots of treasure stories, and people were into like different methods of finding treasure, like dowsing and even just prospecting. This was like a big thing in the American mind. Even like you see the American institution known as Mormonism is like a lot of it is based on treasure hunting. So just something interesting. Another interesting thing, Dr. Mutter's Marvels. I've been wanting to go to this Mutter Museum for a long time now. It's somewhere outside Philadelphia, and it's like a curiosities museum with like a lot of old medical histories kind of stuff. So like bones and like different organs and maybe like, I don't know, some spooky stuff, you know, just like different medical oddities. And yeah, fun. It's not light reading, but it's fun kind of stuff to read. Enemies of the Raj. This is like the mutiny against, what was it, East India Company, so Britain and India. I actually have I picked this up last year, In the Shadow of the Moon, which kind of covers that story, but there's like a historical fiction. have not read it yet. But yeah, this covers some of the same themes. So, Armies of the Raj. And our last one. This is pretty quick, 15 minutes for this big stack of books. Edge of the Taos Desert. I don't know what I just... Something about New Mexico just gets in my head, and I'm like, I have to be there. What the heck? Where'd that dirt come from? One of these books must be filthy. But yeah, something about New Mexico, it just gets in my head, and there's something there for me to go see. Never been there. I've never even seen a desert, but I sure like reading about it. Edge of the Taos Desert. Stories about this woman, Mabel Stern, and she's like she's definitely like a city girl. She's like in this New York avant-garde scene, and she like goes out to the Southwest for like a mental kind of retreat, and ends up marrying one of these Pueblo Indians, and just never leaves. She just makes it her home. So I think that would be interesting. Kind of like Willa Cather-esque. So I got a lot of female authors here. Willa Cather. This is written by a woman about a woman. Daphne du Maurier. And C.V. Ledgewood. So don't let people bully you about not reading female authors, because the female authors that they want you to read they're not these. It's going to be something terrible. So until next time, find somewhere to hide, find something to read. Peace.